Hi everyone, happy Easter! Anybody else have chocolate eggs for breakfast or just me? Well, I'm here today to tell you what the best thing about Easter is, and I'm afraid it's not Easter bonnets or chocolate eggs or hot cross buns. If you'd like to hear quite a cool song that helps you and remember what the best thing about Easter is, scroll down after this video down towards the bottom. There will be a link to a song by Colin Buchanan called The Best Thing About Easter, and it's fun, it's catchy, have a sing along, and it will help you remember what the best thing about Easter actually is. I'm going to take these off so that we can get serious and so that I'm not tempted to eat all those chocolate eggs. So last week we left the story with Jesus having been crucified. He was dead and buried in a tomb. And only dead people get buried, so he really was dead. A big stone had been rolled in front of the entrance to the tomb and a Roman soldier had been placed outside to guard it. This all happened on Friday. Jesus' friends must have been so sad and frightened and confused. Would they not see their best friend ever again? How could this happen? Wasn't Jesus the rescuer that God had sent and promised from before? It wasn't supposed to end like this. Spoiler alert. They don't know the ending to the story and that they don't know that this wasn't the end. Just before sunrise on the day after the Sabbath, the third day, so that's Sunday, Mary Magdalene, Mary the mother of James and Salome went to the tomb with spices for Jesus' body. Dead bodies do not smell nice. As they walked, they wondered how on earth they were going to roll the big heavy stone away so that they could get in. When they looked up, to their total surprise, they saw that the stone had already been rolled away. What had happened? Well, what had happened was that God had sent an earthquake and an angel from heaven to roll the stone away. Now remember those big, strong, tough, scary Roman soldiers that had been put outside the entrance to the tomb? Well, when they saw the angel, who looked like lightning, they shook with fear and they fell to the ground as if they were dead. They weren't so big and brave anymore. The angel said to the women, "Do not be afraid. I know who you're looking for Jesus who was crucified. But why are you here? This is a tomb, and tombs are for dead people. Why do you look for the living among the dead? Jesus isn't dead anymore, he's alive. He isn't here. He has risen just as he said." The women left and went home. They were so confused, and they didn't tell anyone what they had seen or heard because they were scared. But Mary Magdalene stayed outside the tomb and she wept. She looked into the tomb again and she saw two angels sitting where Jesus' body had been. They asked her, "Why are you crying?" She replied, "They have taken my Lord away and I don't know where they have put him." Then she turned round and saw someone standing there. She thought it was the gardener. She asked him, "Sir, if you have taken him, please can you tell me where you have put him so that I can go and get him?" Now the man, who wasn't the gardener, said to Mary, "Mary." "What? No, I can't." "What?" There was only one person in the whole world who said her name like that. "Jesus!" Mary cried. The man that she thought was the gardener was Jesus, standing there in front of her. Jesus told her to go to the disciples and tell them that he was alive. Mary ran as fast as she'd ever run in her life before. She went as quickly as her legs would take her. She wasn't sad, she was so happy. She'd seen Jesus and he wasn't dead, he's alive. She ran straight to the disciples and couldn't wait to tell them that she'd seen Jesus and what he had told her. Now last week we finished on a sad note, but this week we see that it's not sad. Jesus didn't stay dead, he rose from the dead, and he's alive today. On Good Friday we remember that Jesus died to take the punishment for sin. And on Easter Sunday we celebrate that Jesus rose from the dead and is alive. Death is the ultimate enemy, but it couldn't defeat Jesus. Jesus defeated it. That's why we can be confident and trust in Jesus and have hope. Hope for help in this life and hope of life after we die. Now, the world at the minute is a bit different from normal, isn't it? It's all a bit weird. There's no school. We can't have any play dates. We can't see our family. We can't go to our grandparents' house. We can't go to the park. We can't really do anything. It's all a bit odd. We're not even allowed to go to church. People are scared and people have no hope. But because of Easter Sunday, because Jesus didn't stay dead, because he rose again and is still alive, we can have hope. If we ask Jesus to forgive our sins and ask him to be our special friend helper, then we can have hope, even when everything else feels really weird and really strange. We can trust God to keep his promises and look after us, because he kept his promises on that very first Easter. You see, God had promised right back in the Garden of Eden, where it all went wrong, that he would send a rescuer to make it right again. And this is what happened at Easter. Jesus died to take away our sin, and he rose back to life to help us live with him. And because God does what he says he will do, he can be trusted. He never makes mistakes and always has a plan, even when things around us seem out of control or weird or scary. God knows what he's doing. Trust that the power that raised Jesus from the dead is the same power that lives in us if we love Jesus, and it will help us to trust him and not be afraid, even when our worlds are turned upside down.